Game Ready is an application in its own right, and Judith Hewitson, who's actually worked very heavily in this application and who owns it, Cicada, is sitting here with us, and she can obviously give you a lot more inside education and information afterwards. Game Ready is a serious game framework. Basically, you are week after week, you are going to receive information about a particular arena, a particular subject. You're going to receive that information via email, via a video. That will be a documentary kind of video that relates to you, that will come to you, or you come to the website and see it. You're going to interact with that. It's going to have some relevance to you because you're a member that's already been invited to play this game. And you will, week after week, be challenged to interacting with that game, with what you're being served up on that week. The next week you'll receive the next lot. The next week you receive something a little bit more difficult. The next week you receive something a little bit more challenging that's actually going to give you more, teach you more about the actual subject matter that you're going through. This is being used by many different organisations worldwide, and Judith is obviously talking to lots and lots and lots of different groups about this. It's basically a social awareness type tool. It's being used in, one I can talk about is in Singapore government will be using it to prepare to talk about their social issues of gambling. Now the problem that they have in Singapore is that they're about to open 2 big casinos in 2010 and they don't have any casinos right now. So they are thinking ahead and actually preparing socially for what needs, people need to actually think about from a family point of view, from a one-on-one point of view, and this kind of application that they can receive in all different ways and interact with will help them to think about that. And as they progress through the weeks and challenges, they actually think a little bit more about it, and hopefully they take home some of those messages. The reason why Facebook is interacting, and I'm going to talk about this here, so it's game framework. This is hopefully understandable. Facebook is actually going to be used inside this serious game framework to not only interact on that week by week level and be sending people messages. They'll join Facebook, they'll either share it with each other in Facebook, talk to each other about what they're learning that particular week, but also that helps them to talk outside of the current users going through that group. They're going to share that learning outside of the inner circle learning that thing each week. So they're actually extending the learning past the framework of the particular application. So Facebook is being used to extend it both internally, so they're talking more to each other, and externally. The other bonus is that they'll keep talking past the serious game concept. So they'll get to the 12-week level, have been doing that for 12 weeks. They're still going to be talking on Facebook. So it's actually extending the learning again outside of the formal learning centre. So in this way, Facebook's actually being used in a very commercial sector. This is actually a commercial application being utilised in many different areas in different countries and for different types of situations, in education, in global social awareness. And Facebook is being used for its social network to extend the application, it's the formal application, out into a global sector.
Thank you very much. At that point, are there any questions? Yep. Toby.
Do they have to be real trees? Could you just take the dollar?
Nah, then it's just a virtual gift and you're back to a growing egg.
Make the flash look like new.
Yeah, no, it'll actually be a real tree with a real plantation for real reasons and in the right sectors, and obviously in that sense it can change and grow. And
Okay. Any questions?
it's
Yes.
a social good point of view.
What's up?
G'day, I'm Dave from Webalive. I just wanted to ask have you seen that type of model working outside of this particular application of extending an out of Facebook?
Yeah, we actually have lots of
into,
examples I can certainly talk to you about, and that's why Judith's here too. It has been, this particular framework has been used very successfully in Indigenous communities, talking about gambling issues and social issues. Northern Territory here, Jude's actually done this several times, using email and things. We haven't used Facebook. Definitely the email and going outside in other social ways, it works very well.
More referring to, have you modelled the interaction between Facebook and an outside application?
No,
You haven't seen that working before?
No. Have you?
No, I was keen to compare notes. Quick, how'd you do it?
I'm really presenting it here as this is really, trying to push these boundaries and what it can do. I'm hoping to learn to.
I think we need a game ready for Melbourne with the casino industry here doing a roaring trade. Any further questions with either the tree exchange or in relation to game ready from our audience?
In that dark over there.
Okay, over in the corner.
Yeah.
Yep, certainly, come forward.
Hi, Jeremy Yule from RMIT University in Acid. You've got a lot of really interesting social agendas, it seems, yeah? And so what's your feeling with somehow possibly driving people into Facebook?
I'm not going to say as we said over lunch. No, it's cool. That's always the next question. Why are we driving people into something, firstly, that we don't control? Secondly, we don't make any money by forcing people into Facebook. In some of these instances where we're talking about very large populations, large social issues, we're talking about 1 million people potentially coming into Facebook because of this application. So why are we doing that? Well, it's got to work for us. It's got to actually give the Facebook side of it's got to work better for this particular framework than anything else to start with. And then certainly we'd like to talk to Facebook about what they can do for us to make sure it works for us. Because this is something about the changing every week. The fact that if you develop into Facebook, and hands up everyone who's actually developed something for Facebook, put your hands down if you've gone for a whole week without having to change it. No, all hands are stopped. Yeah. Facebook is not, they might have opened the API, but they haven't been very nice to developers yet. And they've opened the API because they want developers like us to bring people into Facebook, to create these kind of apps to bring people into Facebook. So they're going to have to make sure that they're working with us, not just saying you can do that if you want to. We are going to be driving people into Facebook and change the way that Facebook works amongst those people using Facebook, because these kind of things are going to change the way people interact on Facebook and what they expect from Facebook. So, this is what's going to have longevity for Facebook and how it's going to push itself into the next generation and start being ready for the next kinds of things that we want to be doing with Facebook. So, we really want to be talking to Facebook about if we're going to bring you 1 million people into Facebook, how are you going to make sure we can do that without looking stupid? Otherwise, we'll go somewhere else or do something else. So, yeah, absolutely. We need to have some assurances from Facebook before we open this up that it's going to work, and they're going to make sure it does.
Thank you, Jeremy. Very good question. And thank you, Terri.